Welcome to BigDaddie Sports, where I'm your host, Big Daddy.
I'm L.B. Jenkins.
And we're back with you once again to talk about the hot topics in the NFL and then give you our picks for the week. Let's jump right in it. Detroit got a big win versus Chicago this week.
They sure did. That's the second person they beat in their division. You have Matthew Stafford playing at a great level, 63%, 13 touchdowns. He's headed for a 4,500-yard season right now. I see this team advancing. Calvin Johnson, Java Best is doing well as well. I see this team going somewhere. Only time will tell whether they make it to the playoffs or not, but right now they're headed on the right track.
I like the 5-0 start. I like the huge win on Monday night. It was huge for the city, huge for the franchise, huge for the players. But I want to caution everybody, as I always do, of jumping on it too early, because now at 5-0, expectations of that team have changed. Now, instead of just being a feel-good story, now you're expected to do something. Now you're expected to compete with Green Bay. And those expectations are different. They've never felt the weight of that before. So we'll see how they respond. Also, this week versus a good Chicago team, Chicago's better than what their record indicates, they found a running game. And they hadn't ran the ball all year. Previous year's game, Java Best was averaging 3.1 yards a carry. After this game, he's averaging 4.7. He almost doubled his yearly total in yardage. So we have to see, can they consistently run the ball? We know about Calvin Johnson. Matthew Stafford is playing at a high level. But let's see what they do when they're expected to do it. Nobody expected Detroit to be this good this soon.
I totally agree with you. No one expected them. Each week they're beating our expectations, so each week they're going in. Now, if you look at the stats, they just played a better game of football. Chicago had time of possession. Chicago only had 1 turnover, just like them. 3 sacks on Jay Cutler. Kind of low usually, but at the same time, Detroit just played a better game of football and won on Monday night.
I feel you that they exceed our expectations every week, but again, now you looked at, okay, this season is a failure if they don't make the playoffs at 5-0. Before it wasn't that. Before, if you got to 8-8, 9-7, you were moving in the right direction. Now you took this giant step, and it's, if we don't make the playoffs, there's going to be backlash from starting 5-0 and then falling short. So we have to see how they deal with that. Our next topic, are the Eagles done at 1-4?
Each week we have either Michael Vick injured, we have dumb plays like by Ronnie Brown. I'm looking at their future games. The next 4 games, you have Washington this week, you have Dallas, you have Chicago, then you have Arizona. The only game I see you winning is Arizona, so I see you going the next 4 games coming out 1-3 on top of your 1-4 schedule already.
It's hard to tell what this Eagle team is really doing. Last week, McNabb put up decent numbers, but the 4 interceptions are killers. The defense is still not really showing up. And then you go into a game this week versus Tim Hightower and Ryan Terrain, and we all know Shanahan loves to run the ball. So you look to be behind the gun, and if you lose this week at 1-5, you're pretty much done. People are already calling for Andy Reid's job. Now, only 5 weeks into the season, questioning the Michael Vick contract. There's a lot going on in Philly. I don't know if they can right the ship. I think so much has happened so fast, and that defense is just not playing well. The scheme is bad. I think Philly may be done, and it's hard to say that 5 weeks into it, but I don't see Philly bouncing back from this. The only thing that can help Philadelphia is if the division falls back to them. Nobody has ran away. Washington is 3-1. They had a bye week last week. So we'll see how it goes.
I don't see them doing much. I think Andy Reid, he took a lot of blame for this as well. Michael Vick took blame for this. The defense is very key. You got to stop the rush. But I don't see them coming back this season. I think in the next offseason they're going to come back. They'll come back strong. Don't throw in the towel on Andy Reid. Don't throw in the towel on Michael Vick for next season. But I think they need to regroup. The lockout, I believe, hurt this team.
I agree with that. Our next topic. Can Tim Tebow handle the pressure of the expectations of being the starter in Denver?
Kyle Orton, first half, 6 of 13, 34 yards, 1 interception. Tim Tebow comes in second half, only 4 of 10. Only 4 of 10, that's not really good as passing. 79 yards, 1 touchdown, 38 yards rushing. This team is willing to play for Tebow, and I think that's the key that happened in this game. Tebow came in reinvigorating this team. This team was charged, defense was charged, and almost won. I think the team needed a new leader, and they didn't see leadership in Kyle Orton.
Tim Tebow is a natural born leader. Nobody questions that. What I do question is at Miami, after the bye week. Detroit, at Oakland, and at Kansas City. It's kind of a bad time to throw him in and say, catch this rhythm now, because now you're getting into a thick part of the schedule. We know how hot Detroit is. You know how hard it is to play at Oakland at home. And Denver hasn't beaten a division opponent in almost a full season. So you throw him in there now, and you've kind of thrown him in there to fail. It's like, we put him in there now, or we told you so. He's not set up to succeed long term. They do get the bye week before the Miami game, but thereafter, I see Tebow struggling, not because of talent, just because how this is being handled.
I think it's going to take a key thing, even though it's Tebow's second season. We see Cam Newton. Cam Newton's losing games, but you see how excellent he's playing. I think right now what they're watching is, can Tebow handle this? People always wonder about him taking too many steps in the backing off, doing a backdrop, but he's moving in the pocket. People come at him a corner, he shakes them off. He's extending the play and getting it done. I think they're going to see how his gameplay is. We already know his leadership is there, and that will show if he has a future in Denver or a future with another team.
I agree with that. If he does play well, it does speak well of him. I just think if you had to just win into this season the way you were supposed to, we're going to give you training camp. We're going to start you. Some of those games earlier they may have won, and he'd have his feet under him already. You're throwing him in here now like, save us. And I don't know if Tim Tebow can be the savior of the lackluster Denver Broncos. So we'll see how this goes. Next, we're going to talk about some teams and what the teams are doing in the NFL. Are the 49ers for real? Leading the NFC West unexpectedly. Do you like what you see out west?
The 49ers. We have Frank Gore stepping up these last 2 weeks. He has 20 attempts, 125 yards, 6 yards carry for the last game. We have Alex Smith, only 7 touchdowns, 965 yards. He has a 104 rating. I think what they're doing, they're being more conservative on Alex Smith. They're not giving him full reins. He's being more consistent. He's doing better. They're 13th in the NFL for defense, but the defense is playing solid each game, and that's what's helping them. Again, we have to look at the consistency of Alex Smith. If he can be consistent, if Jim Harbaugh can keep encouraging him, and he can carry this out through the season, we got a real team here.
I look at San Fran as a team, and they're plus 10 in the turnover ratio. Alex Smith is passing for 65.9% of his passes. When you look at numbers like that, you look at Frank Gore is now running much better, now averaging 4.3 a carry after struggling the first couple of weeks of the season. You say, okay, in the weak NFC West, this team could be legit. And I think what we'll find out the rest of the way is not will they win the NFC West, because I think at this point that's almost a given, but can they do anything in the playoffs? They have games coming up at Detroit, Cleveland, at Washington, at the Giants at home, and Arizona at home. How they come through this stretch will set them up for the late season run, and can they be more than just getting to the playoffs? Can they do something in the playoffs? It's already easy to see that Harbaugh is going to be the coach of the year. He's done something with Alex Smith that no other coach has done. Alex Smith is playing up to the #1 draft pick that he got. So I think you have to look at Jim Harbaugh and say, what a great job he's done. Next topic. Which team will win the AFC South? We got Tennessee at 3-2. We have Houston also at 3-2.
Both teams are suffering at the injury. The biggest thing is which team is suffering more. We have Tennessee losing Kenny Britt, but they're still playing. Nate Washington stepped up. Chris Johnson hopefully will get his running game consistent. His backup, Noah Ringer, is actually doing better. I see this team doing better because, on the other hand, Houston has lost offense and defense. You lost Mario Williams, pectoral tear. You lost Andre Johnson pretty much for the season. They're both gone, and those are big threats. We see Houston actually do some wonderful plays this last Sunday, but at the same time, I think without Andre Johnson there, and I think without Mario Williams there, they can't finish out the season strong.
Well, Andre will be back in a few weeks. He's practicing this week, trying to get that leg back healed. But I think you look with these two teams, you look at schedules. You have Texans this week at Baltimore, and they have Jacksonville, Cleveland, at Tampa, a bye in Jacksonville again. You look at the Jacksonville schedule, you have at Pittsburgh, Baltimore, at the Texans, the bye in Indy. I'm looking at that Texans schedule, and I'm saying, I don't know. Because that schedule, it appears to be winnable games, but you don't know how this team's going to come out. The Oakland game should have been a win. I know Oakland was on an emotional high with the loss of their owner, But that game should have been won by Houston, and they couldn't make the plays down the stretch to win that game. Those are the kind of games you need to win, especially when you've never been to the playoffs before. So you're putting yourself in a hole, and I just think Tennessee is playing better, more consistent football as a team, and the loss of Mario Williams will be the one that's hard to overcome. Next up we have, at 2-3, should the Jets begin to panic?
We got the Jets going Monday night against Miami. Coming off the bye week. We got San Diego the week after, then we got a bye. Then you have Buffalo, who's playing well. You got the Patriots, who you just lost to. Then we have Denver on Thanksgiving, which should be an easy win, even against Team Tebow right now. I think they should be worried. I mean, I'm coming in, I don't know if you can beat Miami. Hopefully you can, but I don't know if you're coming in, they're coming back from a bye, get some rest, get refocused. I don't know if you can beat San Diego. Buffalo, shaky as well in that division. The Jets are actually turning away from that championship. I picked them for the Super Bowl, and right now, they're not headed in that direction at all.
I told you he changed his pick. I told you that.
I'm admitting, I'm picking wrong. Hopefully they can turn around the season, but I don't see them winning all their next couple games.
My issue right now with the Jets is not the 2-3, but how they're 2-3. There are reports coming out of New York that the wide receivers are going to Rex Ryan complaining about the play calling. And the one thing that can destroy a team more than play on the field is crumbling from the inside. And if this team starts to fight against each other, if the defense is doing its job and the offense can't move the ball, or the offense is playing well and the defense is giving up the run yards like they have been this season, this team could fall apart quickly. Right now, neither unit is playing great. The offense looked okay Sunday, ran the ball in spots, but couldn't run it when they needed it. The defense couldn't get off the field, and you let the Patriots run the ball on you, and the Patriots haven't ran the ball all season long. So I just think if this team is having internal problems, everything else is secondary. They have to get that fixed. The wide receivers have to trust the play calling, the quarterback, and the coaching. And if that's going to grow into a bigger problem, the Jets could be in serious trouble. Now it's that time, what you've been waiting for, the picks.
Again.
I don't know.
Again.
I'm changing my diet. I'm drinking new stuff. Something ain't right. He won again. You know, maybe he's praying harder. I don't know. But here we go. Let's jump right into it. Carolina versus Atlanta. Who you got?
You know I'm against Atlanta and their defense. Green Bay showed it again this week. I'm taking Carolina. Cam Newton's going to come in there, throw all over that defense. He's going to rush all over that defense. D'Angelo Williams is getting started as well this season finally. D'Angelo Williams is going to run all over that defense. I picked Carolina to win.
I like Carolina, and I'm going to agree with you on the secondary play of the Atlanta Falcons. They just made some bad plays last week in that Green Bay game. And Cam has been exposing everybody's secondary. He extends the play as we talked about earlier. So I'm going to go with Cam, even though it's in Atlanta and Matt Ryan's record in Atlanta is pretty good. I'm going with Cam. Next we have Philadelphia versus Washington.
I can't vote for Philadelphia anymore. I can't pick them anymore. I'm going with Rex Grossman for the win.
Again, he's came over to my side. I told you.
Rex is going to play better than Vic and the rest of the Eagles this week.
I think this game comes down to who turns the ball over the least, and the Redskins haven't been turning the ball over that much. So I'm going with the Skins at home. St. Louis versus Green Bay.
Green Bay, enough said.
The Rams are coming off a bye week. I expect Steven Jackson to be healthy. However, I expect Green Bay to win big at home. Indy versus Cincy.
I want to go for Indy. Painter playing well, but you're falling apart. And I think last week it was the defense that let that team down. I think the defense has been keeping them in games, and then finally it's like the offense starts producing and the defense is going to shut down. I can't really go. I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
Taking Cincinnati just because they're home. I don't think these teams are too far apart as far as talent and where they are right now. But Cincinnati at home, I'll go with Cincinnati. Buffalo versus the New York Giants.
I'm on the Buffalo bandwagon. I am. And we got Eli throwing picks last week. One of the picks I ain't going Victor Cruz, Bob, I'm not going to do that. Even though him and Victor Cruz are in sync right now and they're scoring touchdowns, I still think Buffalo's going to come in there and win.
I'm taking the Giants because they're home. I expect them to run the ball efficiently and keep Eli out of 3rd and long situations where those picks are made. Next, we have Jacksonville versus Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh has not been playing at their usual caliber. Jacksonville defense has been playing more consistent. They're keeping the scores low, even though they're not coming out with the win. Blaine Gabbert almost won last week except for a bad snap. I'm still going to go with Pittsburgh at home.
I think Pittsburgh just has too much talent, and Pittsburgh's about to find a rhythm. NFL beware, going with Pittsburgh. Might be the game of the week, and nobody had this before the season started. San Fran versus Detroit.
Both defenses have their flaws. I'm going to go with quarterbacks who can win. And Matt Stafford's playing at a great caliber. Alex Smith, even though he's playing consistent, he's not at Matt Stafford's level. I'm choosing Detroit.
I like how Alex is playing. I like how Gore is running it. And that defense is playing pretty good. I think the difference in this game is Calvin Johnson. Nobody in the league right now, other than maybe Reeves, can guard Calvin Johnson. And so I think Calvin Johnson will be the difference, and Detroit gets a W. Cleveland versus Oakland.
This is hard. This is honestly hard.
I know, he loves Baby Favre.
Baby Favre, Colt McCoy. I'm cheering for him, but I think Cleveland's not good at stopping the rush. They're not going to be able to stop McFadden. And I think he's going to continue running all over the field. So I'm going to pick Oakland.
I'm going with Oakland because underrated Jason Campbell is beginning to play better and get comfortable in that system. Never in his career prior to this season has he had coordinators for consecutive seasons. He's getting it, and so I'm running with Oakland. Next game, we got Houston versus Baltimore.
Baltimore, enough said.
Matt Schaub, coming off a heartbreaking loss, will come out and try to play well, but I look for that Baltimore defense to hound him and want to make up for a lot of yards they gave up versus Houston last season. I'm taking Baltimore. New Orleans versus Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, I don't know what happened against San Francisco. You made a couple mistakes, and it seemed like the mistakes just kept happening. Penalties kept happening. I think that they need their bye week. They need to get refreshed. I'm taking New Orleans.
Taking New Orleans just because Tampa seems to be slow starters. And last week, they kind of got into the mode of where nothing went right. It started off with an interception, and then another bad play, and it just spiraled out of control. New Orleans is going to come in there and quick start. They can't play keep up with Drew Brees and the Saints. I'm taking the Saints. Dallas versus New England.
I'm sorry, it's Tom Brady. I'm going with Tom Brady at home versus Dallas. I just don't see Dallas overcoming.
All right, I'm going to shock you here. Love Brady, love Belichick, but something tells me Romo's going to show up. I don't know how, but I'm picking Dallas in this game in the upset.
Well, he's not injured, so he's showing up. They're not going to win, though.
He's going to make some plays. Sunday night game, Minnesota versus Chicago.
Now, McNabb finally won, guys. He finally won against a mediocre Arizona defense. He's probably going to pick McNabb. I'm going with Chicago. I think Chicago played well this last game against Detroit. Detroit just played a better game. I think Chicago is at home. They're going to win.
If Chicago wants to stay in playoff contention, they need this game. But yes, he's right. I'm riding with Mac 5. Minnesota's going to get their season back on track with this big win here on Sunday night. Monday Night Football, we got Miami versus the Jets.
This is a hard one for me. I just don't know. Miami coming off the bye week. Jets not playing in sync. Like you said, seems like some interlocker room trouble. I'm going to still go with the Jets.
Another shocker, I'm going with the Dolphins. Sperano better win if you want to keep that job. I'm going with the Dolphins. I know Chad Henney's hurt and they're going with Matt Moore, but they've had a bye week. We all know what Tony Sperano can do on offense when given time. I'm going with the Dolphins.
I know what Tony Sperano can do. What can Matt Moore do?
We're about to find out because he's going to be introduced to Revis Islands. Now we have fantasy time. For you this week, we got the byes. We have Denver on bye, Arizona, Kansas City, San Diego, Seattle, and Tennessee. If you got them, sit them. Don't leave those players in. Next we have play Steve Smith versus that Atlanta secondary. We've already covered the secondary and told you how bad they are. Steve Smith's been playing great. He's going to look to dominate this week. Next we have AP playing against that Chicago defense that gave up huge yards is Javid Best, and Javid Best doesn't run on anybody. All day is going to come, and he's going to run it all day. And lastly, we have Tim Hightower. Tim Hightower is going to have a big game this week. They're going to run the ball on that Philly defense who can't stop the run. If you can't get Tim Hightower, go get Ryan Terrain. Ryan Terrain should have decent numbers to be your third running back option also. Who you got?
Matt Schaub, sit him down. Against the Baltimore defense, he's going to be throwing picks all day. I mean, he threw a pick in the red zone against Oakland last minute of the game when you could have won. We got too many. Ladarius Webb. We got Ray Lewis who's going to catch. We got Ed Reed who's going to catch interceptions. If you throw him up, Baltimore's going to catch him. Sit Matt Schaub. Also, LeGarrette Blount is going to run all over New Orleans. New Orleans is going to win, but LeGarrette Blount's going to have a good day against New Orleans defense.
What about Andre Johnson?
Andre Johnson is iffy right now. I don't think he's going to be playing this week. I'd say send him as well.
That's all we have for you this week. Hope to see you next week. Good luck with your picks. See you.